Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever or whoever you may be. I am Al Narante, and this is the second edition of The Social Hour, a Recluse podcast series. In this conversation, I talk to the Dark Matter Collective. They are community organizers who aim to raise awareness on the social issues of today, issues related to Black people and other people of color, issues that negatively affect various intersectional groups. I had the privilege of speaking to Nicolette, Diamond, and Sarah. We talk about their desire to remain anonymous at the early stages of this organization, the meaning and power of physically protesting in the streets, the principles that guide this group, and the role that social media is playing in this movement. The audio for the first half of the conversation is a little bit fuzzy. There are a few crackles during the conversation, but it does improve towards the middle. So with great honor and pleasure, I present to you a portrait of the Dark Matter Collective.
Really label it as Black, because we're more than Black, half of us. Diamond, she's part Latina, I'm Asian, and Sarah, she was raised by so many, different people and who had like a big influence on her life. So we're more than just Black. So we didn't want to just go straight Black Matters. We just kind of twisted it to Dark Matter Collective. And that's what we went on as a professional name that would have longevity to it. So it's just something we kind of created for our group, and it's not really one meaning to it. It's kind of hard to explain.
No, that was perfect. No. That made perfect sense. Let's see. So Sarah, you're a part of this group. What are some of the guiding principles behind this collective? What are some of the things that this group stands for?
Ooh, we stand for a lot. We don't ever sit down. Yes. We stand for equality, for sure. We want everyone to be equal. We were all raised around all walks of life. We believe in love first. We are here to show that, yes, sometimes violence feels good, but it really isn't the answer. We're not going to get anywhere from it. They're not going to listen to us. And promoting unity, like how Nicolette was saying, like, this is a collective, like everything we do it together, but not even like just here in the work that we do, like with events and stuff like that, but like our community, like we're one. So we need to show that, and we need to feel that, and we want everyone else to feel that comfortable and kind of feel safe, and to know that Dark Matter Collective, we're here for all people, but we're listening, like we're always listening, our ears to the community, like it's never turned away, our back is never turned, and we promote only love. Like we're raised with love, we know how to love, and we are ready to teach love and educate love, and get rid of all this hate. So
yes, 100%.
And so, Diamond, what do you think this organization can achieve by doing what it's doing, Diamond? So we've heard some of the principles that guide this collective. What are we hoping to achieve?
So we are really focused right now on our own community, which is Ventura County. We look to change things within our own city first, in our own county, because we have alone a lot of problems, as far as race things go, we have a lot of different demographics, a lot of different areas that, for us aren't so safe. And what I hope to achieve with that is places that we can go to where we can be safe, where we can feel welcomed, where we can feel like we are a collective community and we are all in it together. So basically, I think our goal is right now just to focus on our main community, what we have going on, and try to change the small and make it larger.
Like backpacking off of a Diamond saying, like, it's easier, it's a trend to just, Black Lives Matter, people of color matter, stop police brutality. And it's like, okay, you say that and you want it for everyone, but they always say it starts at home. And if we don't change the streets that we walk on every day,
right,
how do we expect the world to sit back and be like, this is wrong? So I just feel like we all agree, like we need the community with us in this in order for us to really make a change. Because once they see Ventura County comes together, which we already have, we've done beautifully. But once they see we're really about what we're saying, we really want change. I feel like it's kind of like a domino effect. Like, how could everyone else not want to be like this, not want to improve, not want to get better, not want to be better, feel safe? Like, yeah,
change within our own like community first. Like that's our main focus, because that's where we live, that's where we're from, you know. So I want to see that in our community first, and then once that happens, we know we can change the world.
Yeah.
And so in terms of what, you know, this whole thing, obviously it's been a movement for a long time, and this country is rooted, of course, in the mistreatment of Black people in general and people of color. What was so significant about the recent event of George Floyd being killed out in the streets and videotaped? What was so significant about that created protests all over the world?
Honestly, it was nothing new.
It wasn't like, I don't like that everyone's saying like, why did George Floyd make everyone wake up? But it's not the fact that it was him. It's the fact that it's another African American, another Black body down. We've gotten so numb. We've gotten so used to sitting here and being like, it's just another one. It could be me. To where I feel like as a collective, everybody woke up and we're like, we can't do this anymore. If we don't stop it, we're a part of the problem. And I couldn't tell you. That's like, when we all got together, we all had that same feeling. We all had that same mindset. We all knew at the end of the day, we didn't care what happened. We want to change, and we needed it now. We can't wait till tomorrow. We don't want to wait till next week.
I'm wondering, suppose the 4 police officers who killed George Floyd, suppose they were charged and tried and prosecuted immediately. Do you think that would have had a difference on the social impact? Would that have changed anything?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Yes, because it would have been a start to something that we feel like could change. You know, like if it happened with one person, then there's hope for another person to get justice. But no, because there are people in the past who have had these exact problems, and there was no justice for them. You know, so it's kind of like we're caught in the middle. Like, of course we want change, we want to see difference. So yeah, that would make all the difference. You know what? In today's world, it would make all the difference. You know, but I feel like for the past, it doesn't make up for the past. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I love the point that you made about that. That was made about. It's been going on for a long time. It's not just that George Floyd was killed and that it started this movement, but that it's been going on for a long time, and enough is enough. It seems like it's just so big right now. Is there any fear or worry or concern that people are just hopping on this as a trend? 100%. Is there any fear?
Always. But I don't take it as fear. I mean, people are always going to try to find the next trend. They're always going to hop on the next trend. They're always going to do what everybody else is doing. That's okay. I mean, that's what it is. But I feel like that's like the least thing we need to be worried about. Like, we can't sit here and try to educate everyone and get everyone on our side. And then when people are, whether they're faking it or not, or saying they're on our side, we want to shoot them down and say, you know, but you're just doing it because everyone else is doing it. Because it's like, then when do they win? Like, but I just feel like if it's something that really matters to you, if this isn't a trend, you will be educating yourself in every way possible. You won't just be hitting up your one Black friend and asking them a million questions, harassing them about how it feels being Black and how you're so sorry and you feel so happy that they're so strong. When we're not strong, we're just humans. We don't want this the way anybody else wouldn't want it. Like, it doesn't matter if you're white, yellow, green, blue. You wouldn't want this happening to your people. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. Or you wouldn't. I mean, I would think you wouldn't want to see that happening to another human being.
And I also think a lot of people are miseducated, even though that they are fighting for what they believe, what they think Black Lives Matter movement is. I don't think they really know what Black Lives Matter movement really is,
or how much it really has an impact on everyone's everyday life. And like, that's the funny thing, is seeing everybody wake up like, wow, I never noticed how much the Black community influenced. And it's like, yes, from the moment you wake up, almost everything you do, from the music you listen to, from the clothes you wear, from the way you do your hair, from the way you, like, it's everything from sometimes the way you do your makeup, how you wear your clothes. Like, it's all influenced from the Black community. Like, I don't know.
How could you take something that you want from that demographic and not love them?
Exactly. Like, how can you use that?
Not admire them or you know, acknowledge them.
Definitely.
How does the music industry play in all of this? Do you think that they just simply take advantage of Black culture?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's the easiest for them to take.
Rock, since we created all of that, they've always taken advantage, for sure.
Yeah, I think Justin Bieber had come out, you know, out of all people. He sort of, I don't know what you would say. I don't know if you would call it an apology, but just made a reference to that about how he's benefited from the popularity, I guess you could call it, of Black culture or the rap industry, whatever you want to call it. Is that a good start for, say, people like Justin Bieber, other white folks, who just simply start being aware of this when they weren't aware before?
Once you're aware, once you apply it to your everyday life, once you wake up and you can't push it away, it's a little bit of change, but it's change. That's showing that it made a difference, because compared to it, you were just ignoring it. You didn't care. You didn't want to know more. You didn't want to know how it affected you personally. You just knew you weren't racist, and you don't let racist stuff happen in front of you. But it's like, it's so much more than that. Like, it's so much more than that.
In terms, one of you had mentioned about how you're not thinking about what people's motives are for when they show up to these big events that are going on, the protests and the rallies. Is it just a useless activity for you to do, to worry about why somebody is there? Yeah, what do you think?
I think because we're so focused on educating that we hope your purpose is, we just suspect everyone's there I feel like we give everyone the benefit of the doubt. Like, honestly, because I feel like in general, like the Black community, we're so forgiving, we're so loving, we're naturally so gentle, even though we're made to seem as beasts. We're so gentle, we're so understanding. We just want to be heard. We just want to be listened to.
I'd be lying if I told you I didn't feel that way at one point in time.
Oh, okay.
Throughout this whole thing, that I wasn't angry, that I didn't want to go out and do some I'm sorry, excuse my language, do some shit,
No, for sure.
So but with me, I feel like with everybody that showed up to the protest, you have to make a conscious decision. You have to really think about what impact you want to make on this world. They already think Black people are going to riot. They already think we're going to act up. They already think we're there to cause trouble. So we can't be that.
Yeah, we give a protest. We give like a speech before, just saying, like, we know you're angry, we know you're upset, and you have every right to be. If you want to loot, go ahead and loot. But remember, at the end of the day, that means that you're putting one of these people who are standing right next to you, fighting with you, it's life in danger. You no longer care about everybody else around you. You're only being selfish to yourself, which is, at the end of the people are going to do what they're going to do. But that makes such a big, like, you'd be surprised how the community does their own job. Like, we will take care of what we need to take care of. We see someone doing what they're not supposed to be doing. It's just crazy. Like, you see all these looting videos and everything, and everyone's showing, like, how come the people that are looting are not the ones peacefully protesting? Because, it's probably not real. And so it's just funny how we're so much more aware. We're like, why would we stand there and say something? Why would we fight them when we can record it? We can post it. We need to show proof. The world wants proof. Let's give them proof. And, like, yeah, it's just crazy because when we had that peaceful protest, at least within the protest we had, it was beautiful. No violence whatsoever.
Yeah, there wasn't any violence whatsoever.
Nothing. Like, it was just happiness. And even we had millions of signs made and everything like that to pass out. And there's people are like, oh no, I don't want anything that's but negative towards cops because I'm not here for that. But I do agree everybody has, equal matter, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. So they could take the sign. But, but I love the fact that you're here for the right reasons because it's true. At the end of the day, yes, you might feel this way about cops. You might feel this way about other walks of life for not caring about Black people. But we need to remember what can you do with that negative energy? What good can you make with that negative energy? Because we could be mad for the rest of our lives. And I'm sure
not only that, but some people, what can your privilege do for us?
Exactly.
If use that to help us.
For sure.
I appreciated that so much for people that did show up,
And they used it. They stood front line with us. They blocked cars for us. Like that to me made me think it would be wrong for me to think people are here for the wrong reasons. Because, look at them. They're putting their life at risk for me. And they have no clue who I am. They have no clue that we are behind this protest. They just know they see Black faces in danger and they don't want anything to happen to us.
Right.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I was, I think we're talking about the same event on June 7th. Yes. Was it the walk to Thiele Park? Yeah, it was awesome. And you know what's so interesting? I'd be curious to know how it makes you feel or what it makes you think. But I noticed, there was a lot of white people, a lot of brown people, a lot of people who weren't Black. What does that make you think?
Tammy, you want to go
first? First off, that makes me think that at least we're supported. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Another thing it makes me think is I did notice there weren't a lot of Black people out there.
I'm real quick to say that. She was waiting for that one.
which was a little bothersome to me, and I'm not gonna lie to you, only because I feel like if it's us that's in, why this is our fight. Why do we have other people fighting our fight for us? So I ask myself these questions all the time, but I always come to the same thing. I feel like Black people are scared.
So scared.
They're afraid.
And they're tired.
Tired, and they feel like maybe there won't be any change.
Exactly. For sure.
They don't believe in that because it's been this way for so long.
Yeah.
We're going on 400 years,
of the same shit, just in different ways.
You said afraid. What are they afraid of?
Afraid to either be attacked by police officers if they think that there's so many Black people. Things can get crazy because you see on the news all the time. Well, lately I've been seeing, white supremacists or people coming to sabotage protests, things like that, and blame it on the people that are actually out there protesting, being peaceful. So that I believe a lot of people are afraid of that. They're also afraid of
people's information getting out,
people's information getting out, pictures, things like that.
Where you work, stuff like that. Just think that that shouldn't even be a question. Like, why?
Not only that,
peacefully protesting. What should that?
Not only that, but the area that we were in was not. Luckily, it was at the area we were at. It was out in the open, but. To go a little bit further, deeper into Ventura, that's a very dangerous area.
Color. Yeah, it's not
it's not people of color friendly area.
Yeah, definitely not. And that's why we
Hells Angels, KKK. I've been told this since I was young.
Yeah,
I've been told this since I was a kid.
Yeah, Kentucky. Yep, I've been told since I was little. Stay your ass in Oxnard.
Don't go on the boulevard. Don't go on Ventura Boulevard. That's not safe for you. You can't go over there.
Don't go to Avenue.
Yeah, Avenue. My bad.
Yeah.
So I noticed when we walked over the bridge, there was, first of all, June 7th was so big, so beautiful, so awesome that I remember I was a part of the group that we ended up in Thiele Park, and that was a lot. I thought that was the whole group. It turns out, I'm pretty sure there was protesters who showed up a little later that stayed on the corner.
Yeah, they stayed.
And there were also protesters who I don't think that they were trying to get on the freeway, but they were basically toe-to-toe with the cops that were on that freeway entrance on the bridge.
Yeah.
That was part of our group.
Yeah. There was also another group at VPD. So we had about 3-4 different groups going on. That's how big it was.
Yeah. And we were shutting Ventura down for the day.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, I noticed, and I don't know exactly what to think about this. I'd be curious to hear what you think about it. But I noticed that when we were crossing that bridge area and there were the cops that were, at the freeway entrance, a lot of people shook those cops' hands, and I saw plenty of Black people do it too. What are your views on that?
Being peaceful, we wanted to show them. I don't know if you were there at the time, but when we were walking by them, everyone held up a peace sign to them. We wanted to show them that we are here to work with you, and we are not here for violence of any sort. And they respected that.
Really trying to switch the narrative, because every time you see these peaceful protests, why does it always end in, but it's not peaceful? Oh, but the police do this. Oh, but the protesters do this. And we just want to show that's not what we're here for. We have children here. We have grandmothers. We have grandpas. There are people's mothers and fathers here. There is no need for it to get out of hand. And we know a lot of the cops. We've seen them growing up. They've been in our fucking high schools. We know them. So it's like I guess we're just being the bigger person. Like, we're showing that we're willing to let it go if you're willing to change. Like, and immediately. But I can't say that for everyone, because I can't agree.
They say not all cops are bad, but if one bad cop and you don't give up one bad cop, they're all bad cops.
I agree. I think all cops are bastards, but that is a personal opinion. But although I do believe that, I also, my first and foremost belief is peace will win the war at the end of the day.
Yes.
So I can be mad. I can hate every cop that I see, but I promise you, I will not let that cloud my judgment ever. And that's I don't know. Our reaction is so important right now. They're watching our every move.
Yeah.
It reminds me of, I think it's an Audre Lorde quote, something about the master's tools can't destroy the master's house. The master's tools being the cop's brutality. If we just respond in that manner, it can't destroy the system. So I can appreciate what you're saying about the peacefulness of the protests. So are you at all afraid of being sort of in some way a face of this movement? One of the faces in this movement. I, for instance, am just practically an anonymous brown guy in the crowd. Yet, you people who are organizing this thing from the ground up, you're, leaders in a sense. Even I know you don't say that you are, but really, you're taking a leadership role. So, does that put fear in you at all?
It did.
Yes.
At first, it did, and we were afraid of hate crimes. We didn't want to get attacked. Because that's what we've been seeing in the media. But as we grew and after the protest, we kind of, welcomed it. We embraced it. And we're like, hey, we're here. But regardless of that and the leadership roles, in 50 years, when all this is history, no one's going to remember us. They're going to remember what we did.
Yeah, that's all that mattered to us. That was from the beginning. That was our main goal. Is we don't care. We just want to show the community we can come together and we can make a change. We can make a difference. Stop thinking it doesn't start with you, because it might not start with you, but it ends with you. So until everybody stands up, until everybody does their part, we're just stuck. We're going to be trapped in a hole. And I was super against showing our identities, telling anyone who we were.
Sarah was.
I just didn't want anyone to think we were in it for the wrong reasons. And I know the people I picked, I know their heart. I picked them for a reason. I knew that at the end of the day, this is not about what you could get from it. It's more, what can you give? And I know everyone who I picked, it was like, I know there's someone who's like, what can I do? They wake up and they're like, how can I make a difference? So I was like, I was so against it, but we, as a group, attended a couple of protests and marches throughout the week before the protest. And after seeing those kids,
after seeing all that support,
yes, and the kids is what got me.
The youth,
the children
was
put
beautiful.
themselves in the front, and they don't even know what they're fucking fighting. And the fact that they're so hard-headed and full of love. They're willing to go head on. I was like, how do I look hiding behind the shadows? these kids are putting their life at risk for me. They don't know me, and they really could care less for me. But they do know that how I am being treated because of the color of my skin is not right. And so I couldn't, I felt like it was not, I wasn't good enough if I didn't put myself if I didn't show the community, if we didn't show the community that we are willing to fight for you if you fight for us, like we are willing to be there 100% front of the lines, but we need you and we need your support. And I feel like, how can they support us if they don't know who we are? If they don't know where we come from, they don't know where we live. And so like, after seeing that, like, I'm not fucking scared to go to the grocery store. After seeing all those people there, like, I'm gonna go to Vaughn, someone's gonna say something crazy, the whole store is gonna turn around, like, and they're gonna say something. They're not just gonna watch, they're gonna say something, not because they remember me from the protest, but they remember the protest, and they remember the reason why the protest happened, and that we don't want to be there anymore. We don't want that. And so, I don't know, hopefully it shut the fuck up out of the racists. And I just think it was amazing. It was a beautiful change, and I'm happy. Thanks to my girls, they woke me up. They said, Sarah, we got to do this. We got to give the people someone to know, like, that we're there, someone to reach out to, someone to, feel safe around. And like, I was like, you guys, let's do it. Let's tell them who we are.
And that's a point I want to touch on. Like all these white people coming out to support us. Like, thank you, Karen. Thank you, Brian, for coming out. But what we really need is fair representation. So the system is run by white people, and we need you to use your resources to make change higher up in places where we can't even touch it.
Exactly.
We can't even think about touching it.
Yeah.
So thank you, Karen, for coming out. But I need you to let your uncle know to make some changes,
Because it's your uncle's restaurant that's not accepting our people in there. Or it's your brother's team of police officers who are watching shit happen. Whether they agree or not, they're allowing it to happen. They're not speaking up. And like, when I say we came into this knowing we have a big fight ahead of us, this wasn't like, oh, like we're going to make this change and you guys, the world's going to change overnight and everyone's going to be on our side. We went in thinking the absolute worst. We were ready for the worst. We've been prepared for the worst since the day we started, just because people have been fighting this fight. Our people have been fighting this fight for over 400 years, like Diamond said. So what makes us any different? So we've been, we're ready. We're ready to keep this going.
Yeah.
What's the necessity and significance of actually hitting the streets and marching?
I feel like the whole city know that we're there.
Look at everybody. I was like, I think everybody has something to say.
We want to be heard. We want to be seen.
Yep. These are our streets. That's why we take the streets.
We got to let them know this is the community right here.
Exactly. We want you to see
diverse.
Us standing here. This is us. These are our homes. If it's over the internet, we can say we're from wherever. You can say you're from wherever, whatever. But you see us here face to face, grounding these floors like it was the skin on our back. Like we're not leaving. You're not going to remove us from our home.
Right.
And so I would streets. Yeah.
I would say, let's just use like hypothetically, like let's say the KKK is walking in the streets and they're 2,000 people deep. Wouldn't you feel some type of way, like scared in a sense? And not saying that they're applying any pressure to us or anything like that, but just a group that you don't necessarily agree with, they're out in the streets and you are outnumbered. Not even the police can form a group that big in this city, So it's like a level of we are here, we are not going anywhere, and we want to be heard type of thing. And it makes the KKK or any type of racist uncomfortable.
Yes, that was the plan.
And, shakes them up, get them out their couch. Yes, exactly.
I think there was also significance in the area that we chose to have that march protest.
Of course,
that area was a place that we normally would not feel safe as one person walking down that street right there at all, ever. So we chose that place.
The courthouse is not even a good place for people of color. We don't even like going over there. We don't even go over there unless you have a traffic ticket or you have to go. So we literally do that's not stand in that part of Ventura County. There's no need. And we brought a lot of people out who probably haven't been there so long.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I really felt that too, because I'm a Mexican guy. I don't have the same battle that Black people have, and I won't pretend I do. But I still felt sort of scared going to some of these protests. I didn't know what was going to happen, and then as soon as cops roll up around the corner, there's a little fear that I felt.
Scared. I saw that, yeah.
Right.
But what's so amazing is that when there are 1,000 of you out there, the fear really diminishes a lot. I felt Like, whoa, well,
there's
what are they going to do to me?
Yep. There's definitely strength in numbers. I know he says that, and it's true. After seeing that, I was like, if you were a group of, anti-protesters, you were, racist, there's no way you would have brought a crowd of 1,600 people on top of our crowd. There's no way.
Right.
There's no way. You would have been outnumbered. So yeah, that's powerful. And I feel like that feeling is what we want everyone to feel forever. We don't want them to feel powerful just Sunday. We want them to feel powerful every time they step up their house. Every time they walk up their house, they know their life matters. And we are going to fight. Like everyone who walked to the house with you, we're all going to fight with you just the same way. Because people of color, Black people especially, we take a risk every time we leave our fucking front door. Every day, every time we leave to go get a bag of Skittles, to go to work, we go on a jog. Our life is literally at risk. There's a chance we may not come home. And we wake up with that thought in our head. There's a chance I might not come home. Maybe I might come home, but my brother might not come home tonight. And I don't want us to feel like that no more. I don't want to live in that. I don't want to live in fear. I want to live like, I don't know, fear can only do so much. I feel like we should use that fear to wake everyone up, and then we got to turn it into power, because we're at this point, like, being scared is not going to get us further anymore.
And I'll be honest with you, us being women and it's hard. It's hard. It's so not only that, but we're Black women. We're the bottom. We're the lowest of the low.
Bottom tier. Right.
You know what I mean? Like no
transsexuals. Honestly,
right.
That's how
we get no respect.
We don't get no respect. As if
so. That's another reason why we also stayed anonymous, because we thought, if people found out we're females running this organization, are people going to show up?
Are they going to take it seriously?
Are they going to take it serious? Yeah. Like if had it been males, more a dominant gender, like had they known had they thought it was maybe males running it, I feel like it would have been a different turnout. That's why we kept it anonymous, and why we didn't expose who we were.
I had this I don't know how to describe it exactly, but I was sort of enthused. Just as an individual, I was enthused by the fact that it was run by women, Black women. Yeah, I thought it was badass. I really felt proud. And when my wife and I and my sister-in-law and her boyfriend, we rolled up, and we were, I think, 15, 20 minutes after 12 when it started, I think, and it was already blasting, popping off already just 15 minutes after. And the first thing I saw, was the crowd of people, but we kind of wanted to get closer to where, like the epicenter, if you will. And so as we're walking closer, I noticed this figure, and I'm not sure if it was one of you or just somebody in your group with a megaphone walking up and down the street, just saying stuff.
That was Tara.
That was that could have been.
God.
Yeah.
It was so powerful. It was amazing. I was just electrified just being in the presence of somebody so passionate and brave on the front line of this thing.
Yeah. So Tara, that's the girl who you've seen. She's one of our friends. She did help us organize the event. She herself has experienced firsthand the police brutality with her and her older brother. So she has that anger inside of her. Me, I've never encountered it firsthand, but I know what my people have been through. But Tara, she's specifically experienced it firsthand. So that rage inside of her came from a place like deep inside of her heart. And that day, me and my friends, we stood back and we were like, wow, this is beautiful. This little girl with this big voice. Like, it was amazing to see. It was very beautiful.
Yeah, it was. It really was, because I didn't get to see her at first. All I knew was that there was this like tornado of energy somewhere, and we went by sound and finally had seen where it was coming from, and it was amazing. I mean, it reminded me like of a young Angela Davis or something. It was really, really awesome to be there, and I thought it was such a good protest. It was organized so well. I was curious though about the I don't know what to call them other than like a brown political dance group that was at Thiele Park. How did that come about? That addition to the day?
that was some things that we organized, events that we organized to go on throughout the protest. So it wasn't just about a march and a protest. It was that. And then we also had activities and things that we wanted to do, like positive things instead of something, like just normal, protests are nice and stuff, to go to and listen to people talk, but we wanted to see some different cultures. We want to see Black and brown people doing things. You know what I mean? Like, there was just things that we positively wanted to influence on the community. And that means bringing out people who have local food businesses, like we brought food vendors, we got dancers, we got singers, things like that. So people can see that we're not just Black people. I mean, we have things that we do, so I just thought that was entertaining, like for people to see, other than just a march and some speakers, like right, I thought it would have been something positive and something fun.
I know the Aztec group did reach out to Sarah initially, and they wanted to offer their blessing. So basically by dancing, that was a prayer for all of us. And it was kind of cool. I wish Sarah was here to talk about it more, because she's the one who really got in contact with that specific group.
Yeah.
I thought that was really great, actually. And it was, so the timing was really great because, we had just marched and had rallied beforehand, and then get a moment of rest at the park, sit down, unwind a little bit, and got to see that. And actually, I wanted to call it a performance, but they made a point to say that, we're not just a performance group. We're political as well. So it was this sense of unity that I felt just being there. So what are your views? Obviously, a movement like this is very complex. We have to have principles behind it and have events like protests and rallies. But what's interesting about our modern age is that we're all on Instagram and on social media. And right now, I assume it's the same for you. My social media is just all it is movement related stuff. Everybody's posting about that. What are your thoughts on the digital aspect of this movement?
I feel like, to be honest, social media doesn't help the situation, but it definitely sheds light, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, because back in the days when shit was going down in like the what was it, like Martin Luther King age and like, Malcolm X, and when they were fighting for freedom, you know what I mean? There wasn't social media at all to shed light on these kind of things. So with social media now, I feel like it sheds a lot of light. A lot of people can see what really is going on. But as far as like helping the movement, I don't feel like reposting pictures and reposting hashtags and shit like that is going to make any changes. It's just not. You have to physically do the work.
At least what seems to be a positive aspect of the digital aspect of the movement is that I don't know how much it actually changes anything, but that a lot of information is going around now. So people are learning about what microaggressions are and how we just make so many assumptions and things not to say, things to say, things to do. And I wonder if it helps people who normally just wouldn't know what to do otherwise.
Right.
No, right. It does. It does.
Right. I think social media plays, in my personal opinion, it plays a big role on this, because let's say, Diamond, you said that, you have to put in physical work, but let's say we didn't have social media at all. How many people would be actually hearing this stuff word of mouth? If people are barely reposting and hashtagging, how quickly do you think it will spread through just word of mouth? So I think social media plays a big aspect in this. And especially now during the pandemic that we have, where people are at home and all they are doing is flipping through their social media, scrolling, swiping, reposting, hashtagging, it kind of, we use it to our benefit. I would say we got our Instagram not even 2 weeks ago, and we're already almost at 3,000 followers. This isn't something we planned, it just kind of, it spread from one person to the other by people sharing it. And I think we had our big, turnout for the protest because of social media.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of misinformation, yes, But there's a lot of good things, that go with social media as well, too.
That's true.
Well, so Diamond, you were sort of alluding to like negative aspects. So clearly to me, there are some positive aspects to the social media aspect of the movement. What are some negative aspects?
Things can get misconstrued. Mm-hmm. We managing that Instagram page, we got a lot of that misunderstanding with people like thinking that we were getting together to have a riot or start a riot. You know what I mean? And we had to explain to them like, no, we're strictly enforcing that this is a peaceful protest, but there's always people that are going to come and troll, and go and say things that aren't true. And, when people see things like that, then that's how things get around, and that's how rumors spread, or that's how negativity spreads, So social media can be also a negative thing as far as like spreading negativity instead of what positive influence we were trying to accomplish.
Yeah, I find it very complex. Like for instance, there are some people that I follow, for lack of better words, I'll call everybody a friend on my Instagram. So I'll just put it that way. But there are a lot of, so some people are posting constantly every 5 minutes. And by the way, I'm not saying it's negative or positive. I'm just stating what I'm seeing. Some people are very active and just post after post after post, like stories mostly, where they link you to like a petition or another page or another store or another post, just information basically. Some people I've noticed aren't posting at all. They're just silent on everything apparently. Some people are in the middle where they post only a certain shade of this stuff. So maybe it's not political, maybe it's more of a criticism, and just it's a whole spectrum of how people are behaving online in terms of this movement. What have you noticed? Are you, I guess I should say, suspicious maybe of the people who aren't saying anything at all about this?
Yes. And I think for celebrities, they're on a bigger platform. So it's really obvious, especially when the celebrities don't post. You have this big platform and you're not using it. Especially for the Black, celebrities who are out there and you haven't posted one single thing. It's like, come on, you got to use this platform for something good. You're not speaking on issues, and then that goes with the social media thing. I don't know what they're doing in real life. They might be on the ground doing groundwork. I don't know, but let your followers know you're doing something active in the community, to put this movement, forward. But you're not posting is silence to me, and it's silence to your followers. We don't know what you're doing. Are you doing anything? Are you sitting on your couch? Are you playing video games all day? What are you doing? Let us know that you're active in this. So that goes for everybody, but especially the celebrities. You're on a bigger platform. You're held to a higher standard, and you have this platform that you can use, and you're choosing not to.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're an influencer, influence the world up with something positive. You know what I mean? You're an influencer. That means you should speak up on certain things. And there's a lot of influencers out there who didn't speak on this matter. We won't say any names.
Yeah.
But, there are people out there.
Yeah. And like you said, Diamond, we talked about this, and you said, someone posted something completely irrelevant, something like promoting herself, and it's kind of like tone deaf.
It is sort of confusing to me when people are posting that they're at the beach or eating a sandwich or something just so unimportant. It's just confusing to me.
It is confusing. And then I do see a comment on here.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Diamond. Go ahead.
No, I was about to say, it's not that we need a celebrity to post their opinion. It's more so like, it's like if you're in a room and something happens and there's only you and another person and you choose to say something and they don't, it's just kind of like an awkward look. Like, are you going to say something or are you not going to, like, it's just, it raises eyebrows. You know what I mean? Like, it makes you feel like, okay, well, if you're silent on this, then you must feel some type of way about it.
That's true. And I also think that, like, maybe we don't need the celebrity to post. It's not about needing them to do anything. It's about, what are you doing? In a social media, based world, it's not enough to just be silent. We don't need you to post it, but it would be helpful it sure would be helpful so that we can raise awareness. It's not about needing them. It's about raising awareness. They have a reach of 5 billion followers. You need to be using that platform to, spread the word across the world, not only just United States. These people have reach across the world. And some people need to see a higher figure speak, and really get influenced. That's why they are influencers. People can think for themselves, but if they see someone else doing something, it'll encourage them to do more.
Yeah, I see a crazy motherfucker has some opinions that I'm curious about. He says, or he or she, I don't know who it is. Why do people need a celebrity to post their opinion and people think for themselves? Why can't people think for themselves? What do you think?
They can. They're entitled to, but at the same time as well, the difference between right and wrong. I feel like that says a lot about your character. That says a lot about who you are. We're in a world where a lot of different people exist. Are you going to act like everybody doesn't exist?
Let's just use this example here. Why do these big companies pay celebrities to promote their brand? And I'll just leave it at there. You can think about that, crazy motherfucker, because that speaks volumes. People pay celebrities to post on their pages for a simple reason.
Because they have reach, they have influence.
Exactly.
It is interesting too, though, to see some of these Black celebrities coming out, and how can I say this? They're not necessarily agreeing with the Black Lives Matter movement.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of them. It's because they have deals with organizations or companies, and they don't want to either ruin their deals with them, acting on these protests and marches that are going on because it's confrontational.
So if a Black celebrity comes out and says something against the movement, what does that mean, basically? Do we just simply don't have to hear what they're saying, right? Are their opinions irrelevant? Should we hear them out?
No, their opinions are definitely relevant, and that's what we need to bring change. We need opinions from every side of the spectrum. It can't just be one person says, and that's what it is, because we'll always be just in one area of the corner. I want to say we need different opinions. We need everyone to speak on different types of things, and that's how we create change. We take all those opinions, put them together, and we make something new out of it. We can't be complacent to just one specific viewpoint.
And I'm seeing another comment from Crazy Motherfucker. He says, I'm 50 and of the generation that we thought for ourselves and didn't follow others. We put our head down and did it ourselves. See, I really wish he would call in, because I think there's so much more to that mentality that I would just love to hear expanded on.
He said everything in the first line. I'm 50 and of the generation. We're in a different generation now, a different decade.
So just give me you can answer any way you like. Who are you?
We're people who are going to change the world.